Joining me now, Hugh Hewitt, host of radio's Hugh Hewitt Show and author of The Queen, The Epic Ambition of Hillary Clinton and the Coming of a Second Clinton Era. I know that by heart now. I've seen you everywhere, on this show, on the Sunday shows, everywhere. Okay, so Hugh, I know you were watching very closely last night, so who are the winners and who are the losers?
Yeah. Well, the big two winners from the second debate, I think, have to be Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz. And that's a consensus, I think, derived from all social media and all the write-ups. But I don't want to forget Chris Christie, who dominated the first debate, I think won a lot of hearts and minds in Iowa. And I don't want to overlook Carly Fiorina, who got the benefit of not only the sharpest jabs at Hillary Clinton, but also a couple of great breaks. When they go to break right after you give a great answer, that allows Twitter to kind of explode with a lot of affirmation. She had a very good night.
Well, let's talk about minimum wage and immigration, because that was the minimum wage thing was one of the first questions. Immigration played very high as well. They were front and center. Let's listen to Jeb Bush's response to the exchange Trump and Kasich had about illegal immigrants who were already here.
We have no choice.
So he just called my name.
Governor Bush.
Jerry, Gerald, it was
what happened to my question?
You're not going to have my back. I'm going to have my back. Let me say a couple things here. First of all, we have grown.
You should let Jeb speak.
We have grown.
Thank you, Donald, for allowing me to speak at the debate. That's really nice of you. Really appreciate that. What a generous man you are. 12 million illegal immigrants. To send them back, 500,000 a month, is just not possible.
So what do you make of that dynamic between the three candidates there?
Actually, John Kasich, Jeb Bush versus Donald Trump and Ted Cruz. It was a great exchange. In fact, the only misstep, I thought, among the debate panelists last night was Gerard Baker. He's an old BBC hand. He's a terrific editor-in-chief of the Wall Street Journal. He had the best accent by far of anyone who's done any of these debates thus far. But he ought to have let that gone on a little bit more, because Trump-Cruz tag teaming Kasich-Bush was very interesting. And maybe when we get together on December 15th at the Venetian in Las Vegas, that will develop again, because I was glued to my TV set. It was great television. On the other hand, Jeb Bush had a very good night last night with moments like that, using humor and his penchant for common sense wonkery. I'm going to talk to him on my Friday radio show, and I think we're going to pick up on that a little bit more.
I want to know, do you think that Clinton's team, they tweeted out saying that they were high-fiving last night, but do you think Kasich and Bush are right when they talk about deporting the illegals who are already here?
I think it's interesting. I think that both Kasich and Bush are right about how you talk about this is very important, and I think Ted Cruz is very importantly hitting the note about we have to be a rule of law nation. And Donald Trump has got Hillary endorsing the fence, so Donald Trump won that round. This is a complicated, very, very interesting issue for 2016 that I think will go through a few iterations. But here's what they weren't high-fiving themselves about last night. A number of the Republican candidates took direct aim at Hillary's foreign policy. And I'll tell you, that trailer for 13 hours, the Michael Bay movie that ran for a full minute and a half, that's devastating to Hillary Clinton. That was the best moment the Republicans had last night. I think that the loser, I wrote this for CNN Opinion this morning, for our friends over there at CNNopinion.com, Hillary was the loser last night because she looked at that stage and she said, I don't want to face a half dozen or 7 or 8 of these people. They'll take me to pieces. They'll take me apart joint and shoulder.
Let me read part of your column.
Very good debater.
Let me read part of your column, because she was mentioned 25 times last night, at least 25 times. Okay, but you said Hillary is every Republican's target, thought by many rank-and-file average Americans to be protected by the media, and a dreadful candidate 25 years or more older than some of her possible competitors. Do you think that the candidates' ages are significant?
Oh, yeah, I think we see the inversion of 2008. In 2008, an old but very serious John McCain got blown out by a young, not much known about Barack Obama, because Americans watch television and they assess presidential candidates on a variety of bases, one of them being, who can I look at for 4 or 8 years? Who can be in my living room for that long? And President Obama won that over Senator McCain. I think if you flash forward and you've got Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz up against Hillary Clinton, or Carly Fiorina or Chris Christie, Hillary Clinton's afraid of that matchup.
Listen, let's move on and talk a little bit more about the Democrats without the Republicans. So there's a debate this Saturday night. They're holding pattern, Republicans holding pattern until now, until the CNN debate on December 15th. I should say they're in a holding pattern. So talk about what you think is going to happen this weekend at this Democratic debate.
I think they'll have a tough time having an audience next week for the Hillary and Bernie show because it's not very interesting. She is 68. He is, what, 71? They're living in the 70s. People are tired of the 70s. People don't know that they know. Chris Christie last night, Don, talked about the cyber attacks that China has launched against us. Ted Koppel has this brand new book out, Lights Out. This is a brand new, very dangerous world. Hillary Clinton mismanaged it for 4 years at state. Bernie Sanders is just not connecting, I don't believe, with anyone outside of his demographic, which are the old that wish Woodstock would come back. So I just think they're going to have a tough time mobilizing a lot of people to watch that.
That's your demographic,
I'm going to have to do it.
That's your
No, I'm much younger than them. Thank God, I'm much younger than them. I'm older than you, but I'm younger than them.
I'm going to say you're being an ageist here. Well, look, she could say, I will not, talking about the Republicans, I will not exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience. What if she used that whole line?
I'm not being an ageist, but I think Marco Rubio, I'm not an ageist, but I think Marco Rubio last night pointed out that we're in a generational change election, where a lot of people have grown up in a mobile world which is completely social media drenched.
So it's different than Ronald Reagan when he was 69.
Oh,
when he was elected.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because he could dominate 3 television sets, 3 networks, 4 networks, including CNN, and he could deliver a message over the heads of everyone. Now people have to be so nimble, so funny, and humor always wins. And I just think our side, my side, the Republican side, is just a lot funnier and a lot more at ease with the many different mediums that are out there.
Yeah, especially we're looking for Saturday Night Live this past weekend. Funny stuff. Thank you, Hugh Hewitt.
Always a pleasure, Don.